today, haven't we? Absolutely unbelievable stuff happening.
Definitely.
Just so unexpected.
Yeah, that's right. We've seen genius moves, we've seen blunders, we've seen just pure panic, we've seen quick draws, we've seen the tension building game on game, and Simon Williams was right, the GGM was right. Wesley So opens the game with his king's pawn there, and we see for the third time today, Ivanka, your favourite opening. You couldn't have dreamed for a better day.
This was, but he has changed the tack. Now the bishop has developed rather than challenging in the front of the pawn. So now we see some very natural developing moves from white, and it's all designed to get that king to safety on the right-hand side of the board. And now black has chosen to develop the knight. And yeah, it's a very flexible system by black. I know David really likes this way to play for black.
That's right, I've played this setup as black myself many times before, including in some critical games in my career. I've got a very good score with black. I just like the flexibility. I like the fact it's blocked as well. That just suits my style. It's all about long-term planning. That suits Magnus as well. We saw a very similar setup in the first game of today, where Magnus Carlsen, he won with the black pieces. This time, we haven't seen him use this bishop maneuver to give two free moves to his opponent. So Magnus, essentially, we've got the same position, one or two small nuances, two small differences perhaps, and we see Magnus Carlsen use the same idea, bringing his queen out early in the game. Interesting stuff. Both sides, I think, have reason to be happy, and there's, for us, even more reason to be happy. So much tension, not even one trade so far. Both players definitely going for the win in this one.
And they do have 5 minutes on the clock. They get 3 seconds after each move they make. And Wesley, so he's already under 5 minutes on the clock, so clocks are ringing everywhere, and he has made his move, David.
That's right, he's just pushed a pawn near his king, giving his king some breathing space later, so that king always has an escape route if necessary.
Yeah, and this was going to be a super interesting moment for me, but Magnus has answered. What is he going to do with that dark square bishop? Well, he has cleared the path for it, and the knight has moved, and now there's going to be a bishop trade. They have left the board, and now black has quite a nice queen in the bottom half of the board.
That's right, and therefore Wesley So said that queen was too strong, I'm going to trade that queen off. We've seen a trade of queens that nearly always favours Magnus Carlsen. We've seen it this tournament. He's the endgame god, he's the endgame expert. Once queens leaves the board, he somehow manipulates the game, which always seems to favour him. But this time black does have a weak pawn on that left side of the board. Black's pawn in white's half can be weak potentially. It's all going to become a battle about whether that pawn is weak or strong. Meanwhile, Wesley So just improving his bishop there, eyeing up black's knight on the right side.
Yeah, absolutely, David. And what I like about these type of positions for black, it's all about, you know, whether they can break, because the position is very blocked. So you have to think of it just like you would in a military strategy. Oh, Wesley disappearing from the screen for a second and then coming back. But yeah, so you just have to think about it like military line. Both sides will be looking at opening a line, and that is why Magnus has just pushed a pawn to challenge the center. Now this is a very risky strategy, because you can either choose to do it immediately like Magnus has, or you can actually build it up and prepare it. And wow, the bar does not like that at all.
That's right, so temporary pawn sacrifice by Magnus Carlsen. As Ivanka mentioned, he's going for it immediately. He's not hanging around. He's seen the two armies, they were looking at each other, and he didn't like that tension, so he's advanced. And we see a flurry of moves. White snatched a pawn off the board. Magnus Carlsen offered that.
Oh, look at the bar.
Magnus Carlsen, it looks like he's just blundered on that last move. I think Wesley So he's going to find a very strong continuation, maybe not the best. He's blocked that black rook on the left side of the board. That rook is completely hemmed in, blocked by White's bishop.
Yes.
I don't understand what Magnus is doing. He's given up a pawn for no reason at all. How is he going to win that pawn back? Wesley So full of confidence right now.
Wesley looks confused. Magnus doesn't look like this is strange to him at all.
That's right, I think he's suddenly realised there's no way to win that pawn back. Black could use his rook in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Then we see above the board, the stockfish, the computer recommendation is to bring that rook across to try and win the pawn back. The Magnus is sacrificed, but we'll see Wesley So come up with a great move right now. He's just pushed his pawn forward once again.
Yes, he's just pushed it forward. Oh, I'm really not liking what Magnus has done. He broke the center way too quickly, and I think Wesley is winning it. And this is the point. After Magnus has recaptured the pawn, look at at those mean girls, Kaya.
Oh yeah, but look also at the bar. Oh, it's swinging all the way. Okay.
Yeah, I think it just needed some time to adjust because Wesley actually gave back the extra pawn. But if you look at this pawn, it is a bit of a weak, and there you go. You see Wesley is going in for the kill about that pawn once it's gone from the board.
That's right, and we see above the board as well. Again, the suggestion is just keep it simple. Wesley will find this move. He'll just use his rook to capture that black pawn, which is just infiltrated into the white camp. He's just got no backup there.
Yeah, Magnus has done it, and now Magnus just has to mix it up.
And it looks now that Magnus is realizing that this is horrible for him.
Yeah.
He gave him a pawn for no reason. All he can hope for now is that Wesley so gets nervous. Magnus is playing
the side of the board. It's just dominating. So there is time to take a little bit of a pause, but you're right, absolutely not 1 minute to think.
That's right, and Magnus Carlsen, he's trying to keep a poker face with.
And he's done it. He's really clamping down on the left-hand side. And Magnus is challenging in the centre with his pawn, but goodness me, it's a little bit slow.
That's right, so Magnus, he's trying to fight back against White's strong pawn in the centre, but this is the type of move is not scary for White at all. It's just a matter of trying to confuse Wesley. So Black's king, we notice, is in the middle as well. That means it's going to be harder for him to advance the central pawns. Wesley so very, very calm that last move, just pushing the pawn on the edge of the board. That shows he's not nervous at all.
Well, Magnus is playing so fast. Is that his only hope here now?
Yeah, I think so. He's playing quickly just to pile on the pressure on Wesley, because we did see in previous games that when the clock went down with 2 seconds left, Wesley panicked, and I think this is going to be Magnus' strategy from now on.
That's right, and that last move with Wesley so very calm again. He's just pushed the pawn forward, attacking Black's knight. Black's knight will have to decide, do you step back, do you retreat, do you jump forward to attack White's king? But if Black's knight jumps forward, it will get trapped, so therefore Magnus is forced to retreat. Everything's going right for Wesley, so he's slowly kicking back the Black army, and he's still got that extra pawn on the left side. It's looking very good. All he needs to do is trade some pawns. He's doing it. He's going for the exchange. All he needs to do is keep control. Maybe remove his knight out, attack that black bishop. Okay, he trades a set of pawns first. He just has to get rid of that black bishop in the middle of the board now.
Yeah.
That is Black's best piece.
Well, he's doing some strange maneuverings with his knight. He has moved the knight to the edge of the board, where I think he wants to jump in to deliver check to the knight, but I'm not liking that at all. I am, absolutely agree with you, David. That bishop was in White's bottom half and needed to get gone, needed to get rid of it. And there you go, Magnus has been given a chance, and now he gets his knight into the centre. Beautiful octo knight. And slightly worried about Wesley's position because there's an open line next to the white king, and if those black rooks start to double up at line down there, then it's going to be very, very unpleasant for Wesley. Okay.
That's right, so Wesley, he brings his rooks together on the same line in the middle. I agree completely, Ivanka. White's big problem now is he's put his knight at the edge of the board. Why did White put his knight on such a bad passive square? It's dominated by Black's knight in the middle there, and we see the advantage is actually disappearing step by step. Magnus Carlsen using his rook. This is what Ivanka mentioned, that rook now eyes up that white knight on the edge of the board. Black is actually even possibly threatening to capture that knight just to bring his other rook into the game.
Yeah.
Suddenly, it's
there's
happening.
a big danger of checkmate there, Dave, and you can see Wesley is concentrating hard. This is really, all this is down to that very odd knight move when he is at the edge of the board, and the computer really is not happy.
Look at the bar now. It says equal.
Yes.
Wesley, so little time on the clock.
Yeah.
Right, and we saw Stockfish recommended White only had one move to keep the advantage, but he missed it, and now Black has sacrificed his rook for a knight, but it means that his knight has jumped in, he's given check. Suddenly the material's level, White has lost his extra pawn, he's trying to push on the left side, but will it be quick enough? White's king is also very, very weak now. White's king is a huge target for that black rook.
Yeah, absolutely. And we just have something. We have a race to catch.
Wow.
We have a big, big race.
That White king. Now, all White needs to do is move his rook across one square, shuffle it across, attack that black bishop. That black bishop and black king are lined up on the same line. If White just shuffles that rook across, White has a huge advantage, and he finds it. Wesley so back in control.
But only with 25 seconds on the clock for Wesley So.
Yes, 20.
And we did see him with little time. He he did.
Yes.
He did lose that advantage before. 15 seconds now for Wesley, so but he is in a winning position.
Now he needs to, I was going to say he needs to capture with the bishop. He found it, he took that black rook. Suddenly, white has a pawn less, white only has 3 pawns, but those 2 on the left side of the board, one of those is going to make a queen. White is completely winning here. Black will have to give up his bishop for those pawns. Wesley, so it's still not easy, it's still very difficult, but he needs to get one of those pawns to the end of the board and make a new queen. Magnus Carlsen, under pressure, he's messed it up again.
Yeah, he has messed it up, and in terms of the clock situation, Wesley has just over 20 seconds, whilst Magnus has 2 minutes and 20 seconds, but the position on the board is not good, and as David says, those pawns on the left side, they are so dangerous, because these are the best type of pawns.
And actually, both players were shaking their heads a minute ago. I think Wesley doesn't realise that he's still got a winning position. He knew he was completely winning earlier. He lost control. He's still living in the past. He's still remembering that he's lost that control. He should be focusing now because one of those pawns will win him the game. Magnus suddenly realising what he's done. Like, he's going to have to give up his bishop soon for those pawns. But the problem is that won't be enough to save the draw. White still has 1 pawn remaining on the right side of the board. As long as White has 1 pawn alive, giving up the bishop won't be enough.
Yeah.
Black in deep trouble now.
He is thinking for a long time now. Magnus Carlsen, his advantage this whole game has been the clock. He was able to push Wesley so on the clock for a while there, and Wesley so did blunder, but he is back in the game. And Magnus needs to make his move.
Yeah, he does need to make, and I really am very worried for Magnus, because the more he thinks, the more time he gives Wesley to get composed and start thinking about the potential in this position, because it is possible that Wesley, blinded by the clock situation, he only has 21 seconds, could make an inaccurate move. The more he thinks, the more he will leave Wesley to figure it out, and there you see it.
Now we see a trade of pawns, but White still has 1 very Magnus Carlsen even to survive a few more moves. He's starting to realise he's pushed a pawn forward. That's a pawn sacrifice. White can even just take that pawn off the board. Right now, White can capture that pawn with his bishop. That's just a deflection technique. Black is just trying to buy himself some time.
And Magnus has done that. He's taken the pawn, and now we're going to see the bishop try to match the other bishop on the diagonal. It's going to be a big chasing. The bishop retreats, and it's getting ready to start challenging, and that's it. It's game over.
Magnus
Wow.
resigns.
Magnus Carlsen resigns the first game. Wesley So is the winner of the first Blitz game in the final. He now has the upper hand. He only needs a draw in the final Blitz game to be the winner of the Skilling Open. If Magnus Carlsen wins it, then we will have Armageddon. But wow, how impressed